Okay, let's look at number 5. For number 5, this is a difference of 2 squares. So I'm just going to go ahead and open my bracket, right? Then now I ask myself, this is 121. So that will be 11 times 11. So I'll have 11 here, I have 11 there, I have x here, and I'll have x there. The only difference between those two brackets, one will be a plus and the other one will be a minus. So, and then you have 0 this side. So therefore, you have x is equal to 11, or you have x is equal to negative 11. That's your answers. Let's look at number 6. 2x squared is equal to 4x. First thing I'm going to do is take this 4x to the left-hand side. So I have 2x squared minus 4x equal to 0. Guys, we cannot solve for x if we don't have a sunshine on the right-hand side. So make sure that you always have 0. Now, on the left-hand side, I am going to take out the 2x out, and I'll be left with x minus 4 equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, for this equation to be equal to 0, it's either this is equal to 0 or what's inside the brackets is equal to 0. So I have 2x is equal to 0, or that bracket x minus 4 is equal to 0. So if I divide by 2 on both sides here, we'll have x is equal to 0. That's the first solution. And then x minus 4 is equal to 0. That means we'll have x is equal to 4. That's your second solution. Let's look at number 7. We have x squared minus 3x minus 10 equal to 0. Guys, you have to know how to factorize here. Okay. First thing you need to do, this is how I factorize. Okay, I'll have x squared minus 3x minus 10. Right, now, I know I'll have x times x will give me x squared. And also, again, I know that 1 times 10 will give me 10, or I'll have 2 times 5 will give me 10, right? So I can use 5 and 2, and the reason for that, I'm trying to make sure that I get 3 here. So 5 minus 2 will give me 3. So I think I can take 2 times 3 and not 1 times 10, because that if I subtract 1 from 10, I'll get 9. And if I add 1 from 10, I'll get 11, and it's not near 3. So we're going to have 5 times 2, which is equal to 10. But 2 times 5 on its own does not give you negative 10. So one of these two numbers has to be negative. I'm going to take 5 to be negative and then leave the 2 as positive. Now I know negative 5 times by 2 will give me 10. Okay, so now I can say that x times 2 gives me 2x. And then x times by negative 5 will give me negative 5x. And then negative 5x plus 2x does give me this, which is negative 3x. Right, so we can go ahead and cancel this and just take this as if they are brackets. So we'll have x minus 5 on the first bracket. As you can see in this first bracket, x minus 5. In the second bracket, we'll have x plus 2. Okay, I'll do further videos on how to show how to factorize trinomials. Now that we're here, we'll say x is equal to 5, or we'll have x is equal to negative 2, and those are our two solutions. Let's look at this question. We have 3x squared minus 21x plus 36 equal to 0. First thing we need to do here is take out a common factor, because we can see that 21 can be divided by 3 and 36 also can be divided by 3. So we'll go there and say x squared. What is 21 divided by 3? It will be 7. And then it'll be 7x. 36 divided by 3 will be 12. equal to 0, right? And if we divide on both sides by 3, we'll end up with just x squared minus 7x plus 12 on the left-hand side, and 0 divided by 3 will give me 0. Now we are here. Now then I go to my diagram, which where I just want to show that I can factorize here. So x squared minus 7x plus 12. Right, so what are two factors that if I add them or subtract them, they are actually going to give us 7. So we can go for 3 and 4. 4 times 3 gives us 12. And also, if we add those two, we are going to get 7, right? So we have 4 and we have 3, right? But then the problem we have here is that this is negative. That means if we can go negative times negative gives us positive. So negative 4 times by negative 3 actually gives us positive 12. Right, so this we multiply going at the top, and then also here we multiply. So we have x times x, which will give us x squared, right? So, and then now let's just multiply this. X times negative 3 gives us negative 3x. And then x times negative 4 gives us negative 4x. And if we are adding those two, negative 3x minus 4x does give us the negative 7x. So we can then cancel that off, and then we are going to take the brackets as they are from here. So we're going to have x minus 4, and we're also going to have x minus 3, which is equal to 0. Then we can go ahead and say x is equal to 4 or x is equal to 3. Those are two answers. Let's look at number 9. It says the sum of two consecutive odd numbers is 72. Right, the first thing we need to note is that it is a sum, so we're adding, and we are adding two consecutive odd numbers. Right, so I'll make an example of just odd numbers. Consecutive, they follow each other, but they are odd numbers. Right, so let's just look at odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, for example, going on. And we see that if they are consecutive odd numbers, for example, 1, if 1 is x, then 2 will be x plus 2. Then 5 will be x plus 4. And then 7 will be x plus 6, right? So we can just take these two numbers because it's easier to add. So we'll say x plus 2 is equal to 72. Remember, we are saying that we are adding because they said the sum of. So we are going to have x times x, x plus x is 2x. And then plus 2 equal to 72. We can then take the 2 to the other side. We have 72 minus 2. And then this side will be left with just 2x. And then on the right-hand side, we'll have 70. And then left-hand side, we still have the 2x. Then we can divide by 2 on both sides. Then x will be equal to 35. And this, guys, will be the first odd number that we have calculated. Therefore, the second odd number will be 35 plus 2, which is equal to 37. So these are the two consecutive odd numbers, and that when you add them, you're actually going to get 72.